Hello and welcome back to the another episode of the Hindu News Analysis. Well, it is 29th June today, and in this video we are going to discuss some important articles which are very much relevant for your preparation. As today it is Sunday, and Sunday's newspaper is much different from the other days. We don't have the editorials there, so we had searched for the best articles which could be relevant for your preparation, and we are going to discuss those articles here. Now, without any delay, let's start our discussion here. The article here is talking about the greening of our chemical industries. What does the article talk about? The greening of our chemical industries. What is this concept of greening chemical industries? So let's try to understand it. Let's try to break this article down. Let's try to discuss little bit extra article. Something beyond article. Let's try to discuss that. What is the major concern for the world right now? It should have been the wars in Middle East. It should have been the wars in the in Russia and Ukraine. But the much major concern which the world is facing right now, what the people are focusing on, is the environment change. So, and it is real, in reality it is the major concern, it is one of the major concerns, but it has something long lasting effects, and we will see its impact. Right now we are feeling the impact of environmental change, but in the near future we may feel much higher impact of it. The globe is warming. What should have been the temperature, through various protocols, what was our what we established, that we will reduce the globe temperatures by 1.4 degrees. It should not go beyond that. In few according to few researchers, according to few institutes, we had already crossed that. Well, that is not the point of discussion here, but what is the point of discussion is what is the source of this, what is the source of this global warming, or we can say what is the source of this global warming. The major source is the pollutants, as we can say. Naturally the globe will warm naturally. It is how the planet behaves, and we had seen and we know that there was different eras where they are with respect to the temperatures in the planet, and it has naturally changed. But the speed at which it is changing, that is very much anthropogenic. That is very much man-made change. The speed at which the globe is changing, the speed at which the temperature is changing, it is very much directly concerned to the impact of the human beings. So what are these various sources? Various sources can be the pollutions, pollutions created from the industries, especially automobile industry, energy sector, and various other sources. So in this regard, these pollutants, they do what they do. These pollutants, they create the pollution, and eventually the globe is warming, and eventually it is the humans who are going to suffer from it. Now there are various actions are being taken on it, to reduce this pollution. We are moving towards the alternative vehicles. We are moving towards the electric vehicles. We are trying to change the fuels used. So in this case, in this regard, there is one technique which is called green chemistry. So what is done in this green chemistry? What is the concept of this green chemistry that we have to understand through this article? And that is exactly what the article would talk about. So let's try to understand what is this green chemistry. What does it talk about? What is how it is going to impact or reduce the global warming. So let's try to understand that. Let's see what this green chemistry is. The impact, here, for example, when some reaction is taking place, we use the catalysts to speed up the reaction. We use different catalysts to speed up the reaction. So what will happen once the reaction will take place? There would be some byproduct. There will always be some byproduct, and that byproduct would be highly pollutant. That byproduct would be highly pollutant. So the aim of the green chemistry is to replace this byproduct or to reduce this byproduct so that it won't be there, and also to change the catalyst which we are using. For example, for the different chemical reactions, we use sodium hydroxide as the catalyst. So while we are using this sodium hydroxide as the catalyst, it leads to the it leads to various pollutions, it leads to the various pollutants in the atmosphere. If we are going to replace the sodium hydroxide with with the different catalyst, if we are able to use the if we are able to replace the sodium hydroxide with the different catalysts, we can we can reduce we can definitely reduce the pollutants released through this reaction. So the major the main focus of this is to replace main focus of this is to replace those pollutants, to replace those catalysts, or to replace to impact the reaction, to impact the chemical reaction, so that the byproducts would be least pollutant, and also what is left, that is not that would be useful for for the betterment of the environment rather than deteriorating it. This is the whole concept of the green chemistry, and that is being used in the chemical industries, which that is being that's what the idea about it is, to use this in the chemical industries, so that we can replace these harmful byproducts with the well environmentally products, so environment friendly products, so that this global warming can be reduced, and the impact on the environment, the impact on the environment ecosystem, it would be reduced. This is the whole concept of it. And in it, as I told you, different catalysts are used. The point of the discussion is to replace them, so that the impact would be least on the environment. And also, with respect to that, there is a theory given by, what is the theory? That is atomic energy, how it can be achieved. The theory is atomic atomic economy theory. Suppose, let me replace the pen here. The theory is related to atomic economy. So what is this theory? In this, it says that for making any compound, for example, we are making any compound, in this we would need for example, we are making any molecule or compound, we will need two different atoms for that. And in case we are making this compound, we should try to use maximum of these atoms. What we should do? We should try to use maximum of these atoms, so that there would be the least waste. If the waste is reduced, definitely it will definitely reduce the pollutants in the atmosphere. So this is the theory which is supposed to be followed with respect to the greening of our chemical industries. So this is also one of the main focus of what we believe, what we had the scheme Make in India, the flagships program that we will focus on making in India. So this is also to be considered with respect to that. So this is the crux of the article, the greening of our chemical industries to reduce these pollutants, so that how it can be reduced. We can either change the catalysts which we are using. Those catalysts could be used which can be the environment friendly, or we can go for the atomic economy theory, in which when we are doing any chemical reaction, most of the molecules would be used, so that we will reduce the waste. So this is the crux of the article. I hope you had understood it. Now with this, let's try to understand the type of question which can be asked from this question. Here it is. The question says, with reference to the greening of the chemical industries in India, consider the following statement. First statement: the adoption of green energy principles focuses on designing chemical products and processes that reduce or eliminate the use and generation of hazardous substances. 100% correct, nothing wrong with the statement. Then the second statement: zero liquid discharge. When there is any chemical reaction or any reaction, there would be the discharge. Usually that is in the form of gases, or it can be in the form of liquid. And when it is in the form of liquid or gases, it can definitely it can lead to the environmental pollution. So let's see what does the second statement say. Zero liquid discharge is a mandatory technique for all new chemical manufacturing units established under the Make in India initiative to get environmental clearance. That is incorrect. It's not mandatory, but they have to go for for that. They should try to achieve that. It is the mention there about the zero liquid discharge, but it is not something mandatory on them. So third statement, the use of supercritical carbon dioxide as a solvent in industrial processes is an example of a green technology that reduces the use of toxic organic solvents. That is also correct. The fourth statement, the extended producer responsibility framework under plastic waste management rules is a key policy tool to promote a circular economy in the chemical sector. That is also correct. So what is this extended producer responsibility? It is the responsibility of the producer. For example, they are forming something, they are making something with and in which they are using the plastics. This thing would be brought by the customers, they are going to use it and they will throw it. So it is the responsibility of the producers to dispose it. It would be the responsibility of the producers to dispose it. So this is what exactly the extended producer responsibility is about, and it will definitely lead to promote a circular economy in the chemical sector. So with respect to this question, what are the correct statements? Correct statements are statement 1, statement 3 and statement 4, and from the code given below, the correct code would be option C. With this, I hope you had understood the article here as well as the question here. I would like to take a minute from our discussion because it is very much important. I want to give you the brief introduction about our initiative. Every day on our YouTube channel, we upload 2 videos to help you guys under the program Target IAS 2026. Under this program, every day we upload 2 videos, one in the morning session where we discuss the current affairs, which is this video, and one in the evening session where we discuss the static syllabus of yours. So if you are interested in being part of it, please do join us. It is we had promised you that by the month of January we will complete your full syllabus, whether related to prelims or mains, except the optionals. So if you feel that we can lead you, please do subscribe the channel, do share it with your friends so that they may also get benefited from this initiative, and please do write in the comments what else should we bring for you. This initiative is for you guys. We try our best to help you in every way possible. If there is anything which we should bring, please do write in the comments. Now with this, let's move to the another article and let's have a look at it. Well, this article, as you can see, talks about what does India lag in gender metrics. Why it is in the news? Because recently, the World Economic Forum, they released a report called the Global Gender Gap Index. Recently, the World Economic Forum, they released the report called the Global Gender Gap Index. If we will see in 2023, what was our rank? It was 113, and right now in 2025, our rank has it has worsened to 131. So here, why is this? Why we are so behind? Out of 148 countries, I guess, out of 148 or 141 countries, we are at the position of 131. So what is the reason for that? Why we are so behind in it? We are doing great. We had brought various schemes with respect to women empowerment. We are focusing on the gender budgeting in from 2005 onwards. We are focusing on schemes which are specific to women. We are focusing on schemes in which women are the most 70% of women are the beneficiaries of that. By why still we are very much lacking behind it? For that we have to understand what are the various parameters on which this report is given. What are the various parameters on which this report is given? So we have to understand that. First, let's have a look at the parameters on which this report is checked. Parameters. So what are the various parameters? First, economic participation. Economic participation, it is one of the parameter. Second, it would be the education attainment. Third, it is health and survival. And fourth, it would be the political empowerment. We had done very great in the economic participation. We had brought various schemes. There is absolute equality with respect to the woman getting, employment either in government jobs or in the private jobs. Even there are companies which are much focusing on the woman. We had done great in the economic participation. We are doing great in the education attainment. We had brought various schemes. Even the states, various Indian states had brought various schemes to include women in to in a way to encourage parents to send their children to the school, especially the girl childs, especially in the West Bengal and other areas. And with respect to health and survival, the government has brought various schemes. But the major thing where we had lagged, because of that we had reached to this rank, it is because of the political empowerment. In India there is we lack political empowerment. So let's try to understand why it is so. What are the various reasons why do we lack the political environment empowerment, and what can be the outcome, what can be the way forward for it. you know if we look at the society of India, if we look at the social culture of India, usually we have the patriotical mindset of in India. We have very much patriotical mindset in India. Even the woman, they believe that you would had maybe you would had watched that video on the Instagram or YouTube, where the woman is saying that we are not capable of making decisions. It is the men who will make the better decision. So they have this mentality has developed, this mentality, and it is not something which developed recently. It is being fed to us from the generations, this patriarchal nature, where it is believed that it is the man who is going to make the decisions, and women are not capable of making the decisions. So this is something which is being fed to us from the generations. And because of that, the decision making power of the woman, it is very low. Because of various there is also the financial burden which women face, and it is the it is the when added various issues, it contributes to it. Women are not led to speak. Women are not, even if they are in they are politically affiliated towards any political party, still they are just occupying the seat there, and they are not capable of talking. So with respect to that, the government has done various changes. For example, if we look at the panchayats, if you would have heard about panchayats, where there is 33% reservation for women, and there is reservation for women, and it is the third tier of the government, where it was believed that if we will encourage women to enter into the politics, where they can take the decisions, so that it will transfer it will have the upward movement. But the result is not yet we had yet we had not got anything from it. We are seeing that women are being elected, they are occupying the seats, but they are just the proxy, they are just the token leaders, they are just the puppet leaders of their husbands. It is their husbands who are actually making the decisions on their behalf. The woman, either it would be wife, it would be girl, it would be a girl child, it would be mother, they are just occupying the seats for the reservation sake, but it would be the husband who is making the decision. The panchpatis, you would have heard about it. So this is the patriotical nature. It has always stayed with us. This has always stayed with us. The socio-cultural barriers, how a woman is deemed that they are not able to make the decision, the patriotic nature of the society, and also the lack of economic independence. The woman, they are usually, from our history, they had always been confined to the four walls of the home. So they had always been dependent either on their parents, either on their siblings, or on their either on their male siblings, or on their husbands. So they are, if anybody is so much economically dependent, then the autonomy of that person is getting diluted. The decision making of that person is getting diluted, and it is exactly the reason why the women are not that good in making such decisions. And also we have various safety issues related to women. And with respect to this, even though we are giving the reservation, and we had brought through 106th Constitutional Amendment Act, there would be the reservation in the 33% reservation in the Lok Sabha as well as the state legislative assemblies for 15 years. But the question is when it will be implemented. For that we have to conduct the census, which would be conducted after maybe from 2026 to 2027, and after that delimitation would be done, and it would take time. Then after that, this reservation would be kept for the woman. So the issue, then the issue would be different. Even though reservation would be given to them, and there is a time limit for that, it is only for 15 years. Maybe it would be extended, like the reservation for SCs and STs had been extended, like the reservation for the then the reservation for then those members in the Lok Sabha which would represent the Anglo-Indians, reservation for Anglo-Indians. It had been extended for certain years, and it was ended in 2020. So it can also be extended, but the notion what it is given is not that great. Maybe it will not be extended. So it is something giving. It is just giving the space for women to breathe for these 15 years to be represented majorly in 2 to 3 elections. Then let us see what will happen after that. And also, even if they are in the elections, they are being asked, they are not given the high ministerial posts. And with respect to the data, if we look at the data in what was before 2024, there were, the representation of women MPs in the Lok Sabha, it was 14%. In the parliament, it was 14%, something around that. And after 2024, it has reduced to 13.7%. Similarly, with respect to the ministerial jobs, earlier it was 5 point something percent, and it has reduced below 4%. So definitely there is a reduction in it. And also with respect to the states, the information is very much important, that with respect to Himachal Pradesh, they only have one female MLA in their state, and Mizoram, they have no female MLA. So this is the situation of the women right now with respect to their political representation. So definitely reservation itself cannot be the answer. We have to change the mindset of the people. They should be given the right to make the decisions. They should be given the right positions. Even if when they are elected, they should be given, they should be encouraged to take part in the discussions on the various critical discussions, so that their impact would be realized. So this could be the way forward. With this, I hope you had understood the article. And now let's see what kind of question can be asked from this article, which could be relevant for your preparation. Here the question says, with reference to the Global Gender Gap Index, consider the following statement. First statement, the index is published annually by the United Nations Development Program. No, it is published by World Economic Forum. So this statement is incorrect. Second, in measure gender equality across 4 key dimensions: income, participation and opportunity, education, attainment, health and survival, and political empowerment. 100% correct. The index provides a score between 0 to 1, 0 and 1, where 1 signifies complete gender parity and 0 signifies complete gender disparity. That is also true. As per the latest available report, India's rank has constantly been below 100 since the index was first published in 2006. No, it is not something like that. We were consistently below 100 since the report was published first time. We were at some time our position was something around 91 in 2006. So it is not something consistently we had been below 100 from the report first time it was published. If it would have been from recent few reports from recent decade, our position had been below 100, then it would have been correct. But with respect to this, it is incorrect. So the correct statements are statement 2 and statement 3, and from the code given below, the correct code would be 2 and 3. Let's suppose it is option 2 and 3. It is option C. Now with this, let's move to the another article. Let's have a look at it. What does it say, and what is the major criteria of this article? Let's try to understand that. Well, the article says secondary pollutants, especially ammonium sulfate, constitute a third of particulate matter 2.5 pollution. So here, this article in itself is not that important for you, but what could be important is the difference between the secondary pollutant and the primary pollutant. So what is the primary pollutant? The primary pollutant is that pollutant which is emitted from the source and is polluting the environment in layman's language. And what is the secondary pollutant? the pollutants from the primary, the material from the primary pollutant that would react with the atmosphere in the presence of sunlight and temperature, and it will produce the secondary pollutant. And definitely it has the wider impact, as I told in the first article, how it is changing the globe, how it is impacting the global temperature. So this is the article. Basically, how the article is here talking about the ammonium sulfate, how it has constituted to 1/3 of the particulate matter 2.5. So with respect to this, let us have a look at what type of question can be asked. Here the question says, with reference to atmospheric pollutants, consider the following statements regarding the difference between primary and secondary pollutants. First statement: primary pollutants are those emitted directly into the atmosphere from a source, whereas secondary pollutants are formed in the atmosphere through chemical reactions of primary pollutants. That is exactly 100% correct. This is the actual difference between the two. Second, the carbon dioxide and carbon nitrogen oxides from vehicle exhausts are examples of the primary pollutants. That is exactly true. Ozone and peroxyacetyl nitrate, ozone and peroxyacetyl nitrate, which are components of photochemical smog, are examples of secondary pollutants. That's also true. Fourth statement: the formation of secondary pollutants is independent of sunlight and temperature. Totally incorrect. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1, statement 2, and statement 3. With this, I hope you had understood the difference here and also the question here. Now with this, let's move to the another slide and see what type of article it is and what does it talk about. Well, here it talks about the issues around deportation. Issues around deportation. If we will see why it is in news, majorly it is in news because of the post Operation Sindoor, or we can say post Pahalgam attack, how terrorist attacks are happening in our country, and we don't like that. And majorly the most suspected region is the Pakistan for that. And also, it is not only the Pakistani border, even though there is infiltration from that area, but it is very much secured. We had done great work with respect to that, because the neighbor is not good. But in the northeast, our borders are not that secured. They are very much porous. They are very much porous because of the various reasons. For example, first reason is that how the minorities are treated in the region, in that region. For example, in Myanmar, where we are seeing how Rohingyas are being treated, and also in the Bangladesh, how the minorities are being treated since this Sheikh Hasina government. So this is one of the reason for that. And second, there is regional instability. How Bangladesh has visited instability after the civil military coup there, and also in the Myanmar, how there is instability with respect to the military coup and also the actions against the minorities. Then there are various other issues also there which pertain, which lead to this mass immigration, which lead to this mass migration towards our country. And what is the impact of this migration? Impact of migration is very worse. Why? Because it is going to it will dilute the culture. It is going to dilute the culture in this region. It is going to impact the economy of the country. They are going to impact the economy of the country, and at the same time it may impact to the security of the state. So there are various issues. So for that, there are various ways there are the ways to curb this immigration. One major way is by the deportation. First they would be identified, then they would those people who had infiltrated, they would be identified, and they will be sent to the courts, where they would be given chance to speak why they had entered. And finally, if the courts tell the state to deport them, then they would be deported legally. So this is the legal process, and according to article, it should be followed. Then the another way to deport these people is through the push away process. Under this push away process, what usually happens, it is the armed forces. For example, border security forces, if they will see the people, they are crossing the borders, they are infiltrating. Depending on the situation, they will respond to it. They may open fire on them, they may catch them, and they will push them back to to these areas. So according to different laws, what is recommended that we should much focus on deportation rather than push them back process, because that is much legally accepted. So these are the issues which come into it, the instability they create in the country, and because of that there is definitely the need to send them back. They may impact the cultural diversity, they may impact the security in the state, and also they may impact the political democracy of the state if they are misused by the politicians. So this is how it is important for us to deport them and to identify them, then deport them depending upon the conditions of those illegal migrants to our state. So with this, I hope you had understood the article. Now let's move to the last article of today's discussion. Let's see what does it talk. It talks about large genetic map of Indians, flags hidden disease risks. You would had heard about various schemes or various projects, for example, Genome India project and various other. So what is the purpose of these projects? The main purpose is to study the genes of the Indians, study the DNA, study the diversity of the DNA, then use this knowledge in predicting various things. For example, in predicting the diseases which can affect, in predicting the disease which can affect the country. What are the what kind of diseases, what are the various diseases which how they can early diagnose various diseases which can impact the people in India. Second, they can help in this helps in understanding if there is any any DNA, where there is issue with the DNA, they are carrying any, for example, they are carrying any certain trait, and by this technique it can be very much it can be very much understood how that trait can be transferred to the child, how that trait can be transferred to the offspring. And also, it helps in understanding the population specific genetic variants. It can help in in understanding different population, and certainly help in precision medication and early diagnosis. And also it can it can help in formulating public health policies with respect to that. If we understand what is the diversity of the people, how they are getting impacted, what kind of medication they need, so this in general is going to help the people. So this is exactly what the article talks about. It says large genetic map of India, flags hidden disease risks. That's exactly what we do achieve through the genetic mapping. With this, I hope you had understood the article and you had understood today's discussion. I hope you would like the video, and I hope you would share it with your friends. So thank you for watching it. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.